Hi everyone, Susan Gerbic from Psychics Explained. Gosh, I'm such a goofus. I recorded this whole thing and then forgot to hit record. I went to hit stop and I said I didn't turn it on. anyway, anyway, those things happen. So this is going to be a just a update of where I'm going to be in 2025. Mostly this is aimed at people who are in the scientific skepticism movement and or are interested in learning out a little bit more or that kind of thing. So if you're hoping to get another takedown of some psychic right now, that's not this video, except that I will mention that I have done an interview, and I think it's one of the best interviews I've done in a while on psychic mediums. And this is Annie McCovern's Why Smart Women podcast. And she's an Australian that I met when I was doing a conference for the Australian skeptics in Melbourne a couple of years ago. And her podcast is basically focused on why smart women do silly or stupid or ridiculous things that harm themselves. And of course, there's a lot of really good reasons for that. But she interviewed me, maybe a month ago. I think so, something like that. And she's made it a two-parter because she's added some things to it. Part of her own book, she used an audio book in there. Anyway, it's terrific. I think she did a fabulous job, not because so much that she was interviewing me, because I get interviewed a lot, but one of the things she did was she was able to, I don't know, empathize a lot, and she asked a lot of questions. And I think I'm getting to a point in this world that I'm in where I'm coming to a lot more, I don't know, it's just different. I see mediumship and psychic world, I don't know, I guess in a different perspective. And you, from where I started and where probably a lot of the other skeptics are on this world. And I mean, I just was reading through Reddit looking for a psychic medium and a location that I'm going to be. And people on Reddit just, somebody says, hey, is there a good psychic in, this area? And people just nail on him. No, don't be a fool. Don't be gullible. And I mean, it was just really mean spirited. They were trying to steer the person away from it, but they didn't really I don't know, it just felt very mansplainy and mean and just not really giving great reasons behind why people fall for mediumship and why people believe that they're actually in touch with the dead, and why all those things that I ask on this channel that you and I discuss and we talk about and we try to figure out. These people aren't stupid that are getting these readings, right? They're not necessarily gullible. I mean, there's gullible people in every part of our world. It's not intelligence. It's other things that are going on. And I think that exploring that aspect of it, I think, is a better way of learning and understanding and maybe helping people see what they're doing and avoid it. And not just in the psychic mediums, but this is in all kinds of different things that happen to us. Fishy emails, romance scams, people trying to sell you something that, you're impulsively buying, or because you don't have a lot of time and you just say, well, whatever, that sounds good. You're buying the salesperson's pitch and all kinds of things. I think if we see ourselves, why this happens, why what they're saying isn't what you're remembering, and on. I think there's a lot to learn. Anyway, so Annie McCullen has these two books out. Why Smart Women Make Bad Decisions and How Critical Thinking Can Protect Them. And then this one is Why Smart Women Buy the Lies and How Critical Thinking Reveals the Truth. And just to prove that I actually met her in person, she's autographed both my books to me. So they weren't something I had bought online, but I absolutely adore autographed books. I don't know what my kids are going to do when I die, and I have shelves and shelves of autographed books. I just love those. Anyway, so I will put links to this podcast. It's a two-parter. She's Australian, and that's always kind of fun, is I love that. I love that part of the world. And I will put links to that. And I've had lots of people on social media say that they just thought it was one of my best interviews. So, and I think it's because Annie pulled that out of me. She's very empathetic and kind and insightful. And, you know, I should be on a podcast about harm to women because of, Psychics Explained is overwhelmingly women being manipulated. The other things I wanted to mention to you are I do publish for Skeptical Inquirer. I mostly publish online. I do have print, sometimes in the magazine in print. I'll see one behind me. I sometimes I'm in print. I don't usually publish that way because it takes so much time to get the article out. In a print journal that comes out every 2 months, it's not my jam. I'm more likely to print online and then have a URL that I can share. So I am writing up an article for Pensar, which is a Spanish language journal like Skeptical Inquirer. And I think it's going to be a topic on psychics because they asked me if I would write an article, 3,000 words. And I said, sure. So I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to write about, but it'll probably be about psychics. So that's Pensar. And Skeptical Inquirer, I'll put a link to my author's stuff in there. I've got 250 articles, I believe, something like that. Most of them are online, and so they're free. So you can just click on it. You don't need a subscription, even though I do think that anybody who is interested in scientific skepticism, claims the paranormal, that's how I got into this world, is I found an issue of Skeptical Inquirer. I think it's just amazing journal, magazine, and well worth your subscription cost for that. But I also publish this way. The other thing I want to mention is where I'm going to be. So you guys, if you're interested, and again, this is the part of the video, if you're not interested in meeting up with, finding out where I'm giving talks or anything like that, or you're not interested in the scientific skepticism part of this, you can end the video now. Please like and share and comment, but I'm just going to go over some of the places I'm at. I'll put a link to this as well. So this is me rambling on about some of the different places. What you're looking at right here is my website. It's abouttimeproject.org, and it is really hard to keep up because I'm constantly doing new things. But one of the goals I have is to improve in-person events, to be able to come out and try to find new people who are to be part of our community and do more work and to be more active and to learn new things and to give back to our community. So this website, I needed a place that had everything on in one spot. I've already completed the Monterey County Skeptic Camp. Now, these are usually about 20 to 50 people that attend these. They're local, they're grassroots. They are sometimes professionalish speakers and sometimes just local people who are doing their talk for the first time. They're almost always on scientific skepticism, claims of the paranormal, climate change, vaccines, sometimes some pure science things. I mean, I heard one of the most interesting videos, lectures on bats in Seattle. I was there last year. And so you never know what you're going to hear. And skeptic camps are usually a day. I mean, there's no camping involved, but it's usually a day of lectures, and it's low key, free usually, or a couple bucks, and or donations accepted. And it's just a day of socializing, hanging out, lots of fun stuff that is going on. So Monterey County Skeptics is my local. I always run it the first weekend of the year. And so that's over. And then we had the Los Angeles Skeptics. That's over. That's in March. We held it at CFI down in LA. And I did not attend in person the Surf Coast Skeptic Camp in Australia, but I did remote in and gave a talk on, that was fun. Video somewhere. The Be Reasonable conference I just ended. That's the one that happened in Lodi, California, their first attempt at a skeptic camp. They called it a Be Reasonable, which is really clever. I had a lot of fun. The videos are out. I try to video everything. And the article is out on Skeptical Inquirer. And that's that. I'll link to that. Western Canadian Reason Conference. That's in Alberta, Canada. I'm going to be giving a talk on psychics and on Wikipedia up there in Calgary very soon. I'm recording this video April 16th, 2025, by the way. So I will be in Calgary, and then I have some downtime. A lot of socializing is going to happen, but I'm going to drive over with somebody else is driving me to Edmonton, and we're going to be doing critical thinking classes on Wikipedia during the week. High school students, I'm going to be speaking to classrooms. And then on May 10th in the university in Edmonton, I can't remember the name of it at the moment, we're going to have a skeptic camp, and it's going to have a lot of students that are going to be giving talks. So it'll be fun. And I just booked my flight to St. Louis, Missouri. I'm going to be attending the skeptic camp there. I think I'm flying in on the 15th. And if you're in the St. Louis area, let me know. I'm going to have a bunch of downtime because I have to get from St. Louis to Raleigh, North Carolina, and I have a week to do it. I was thinking of driving, but I'm not sure. I might go into Indianapolis, fly into Indianapolis, and give a talk there to the Center for Inquiry group. And we're talking about that right now. And so I've got time to kill. I'm really thinking I'd like to go see some psychics. Not no-name local psychics necessarily, but like events where you can go and buy a ticket and see Matt Fraser or Tyler Henry or somebody who's giving a thing. I'll have my friend Adrian Hill with me. So I think we'll have a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff, and go check it out. So then I'll be in Raleigh, North Carolina. That's going to be on Towel Day weekend. So if all you nerds out there who know what Towel, Towel Day is, we did it last year. It was a lot of fun. That's a reference to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe. And I will not be at Skeptic Con in Germany in May because I don't speak German and they didn't invite me. But I am a fellow of the organization. I just saw the website and they just updated the website, and I'm still a fellow there. But they do a conference every year and it is in German. And I haven't been yet, but I'd love to go. In June, I'll be at the skeptic camp for the Santa Cruz Skeptics, which is right around the corner from where I live. And then in July, I'm going to be on a cruise with the Skeptoid podcast people. Skeptoid is a very popular podcast. It's been out for, oh gosh, years, a decade or more. And I think it's their 1,000th episode. And so we're going to be a whole bunch of us out on a Bermuda Triangle. See if we come back, but there's gonna be a small skeptic camp there. Now it's going to be very expensive, so I'm obviously not saying, hey, come with us, unless of course you want to. I think there's 2 or 3 cabins still available, but we're going to be back in Florida for a day, and I think there's a tour you can buy. Again, it's probably expensive, but it allows you to go from this location to location. I think they have price includes all the transportation and a lot of other stuff too. And it's going to see some different things in Florida in that area. Then I'm flying to Tennessee after that. So the LilyCon, which is something that I would highly recommend if you're an educator or if you're interested in education, that's going to be held in Edmonton. I can't make it because it's the same time as the Skeptoid cruise, Bermuda Triangle cruise. LilyCon is called LilyCon because it's named after Scott Lilienfeld, who was a social psychologist who was just really amazing, who died a few years ago, and I actually knew him, and we in person, and incredible person, human being. Anyway, so that is a conference. This is their 2nd year doing it, that is teaching people or trying to network with people to be better educators of critical thinking in the classroom. Highly support it, but I will not be able to go to that this year. I'm also not an educator. I will be going over here to the Scopes Trial Centennial in Chattanooga. Again, I have a lot of time that's free because I'm leaving Florida because I live in California. So it's easier just to go to the next location that's also kind of on the East Coast than to come all the way back to California for a couple of days and fly back out. I'd rather just stay in the area and try to find something to do. Go see some psychics would be fun. So I have downtime in Chattanooga. And they're going to be having a Scopes trial. It's a 100th anniversary of the Scopes trial in Tennessee. And this is a conference put on by CFI, which is Center for Inquiry, and the FFRF, which is Freedom from Religion Foundation. So this one I'm not speaking at. This will be the first conference I've attended in years that I'm just going to be sitting passively in the audience like anybody else and not worried about making sure things are running on time or making sure that I'm recording something or making sure that my slides are in order. No, this will be the first time I've done that in years. So I'm going to be just a complete audience participant in this. So I'm looking forward to that. The Scopes trial is fascinating, by the way. Check it out. Then hopefully I'm going to be going to Chicago. Will be my first time there. And that is a Sunday, and they're having their very first Skeptic Camp. And I'm really looking forward to that. Then I'm not going to be at Dragon Con, which is Skeptic Camp, but I put Skeptic Track. I put that up here. I've done it a few times. It's overwhelming. They have several days of people doing talks. It's quite an endeavor they put together, and it's held Labor Day weekend. It's quite expensive for me to go because the hotels are very expensive. And you want to stay at one of the big hotels. So if you're in Atlanta and you want to go see some really awesome talks and you are able to go to Dragon Con, I would go check out the Skeptic Track. They do a lot of fabulous talks. Then I will be at Skeptic Hal, which is a conference held in Oakland or Berkeley or someplace up in that area. And this is the first year they've had a conference since the pandemic. So they attract about 250 people. They keep the costs as low as they can. I will not be giving a talk, but I have been going to all the meetings on organizing this so that I can help in any way I can to promote it or to get people to attend. So that's Skeptic Hal. It's a Bay Area skeptics, one of the oldest skeptic groups around. And that'll be in Oakland in August. Then I'm going to be going, I have a lot of downtime. I guess I'll be doing a lot of writing, a lot of videos. Then I'm going to be going to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which I have never been to before. I hear it's beautiful. And this will be their very first Skeptic Camp. And it's in October, followed by a week later is going to be the West Virginia Skeptic Society. Another place I've never been to is West Virginia. I'm dying to go. And these are weekends apart. So again, there's no sense in coming back to California. So I'm going to have downtime between Lancaster and Clarksburg for 5 days. And I have to find a way of entertaining myself, go see psychics or whatever I'm going to do. I'm not going to be at QED this year, which is really sad because QED's last year, it's a conference held in Manchester, England. It is huge. It has got quite a following. And I'm just really sad that they're ending it. But I guess the organizers just are done. Very popular, might as well go out on a bang, I guess. So unfortunately, I will not be able to go there because it's the same weekend I've already promised that I will be in Las Vegas to the Skeptic Camp in Las Vegas. The next thing on the list is CICOP Fest. It's a conference held in Italy. I've been there. I did a panel where I spoke in English and somebody translated what I said. And then they had a little headset that I wore that I could hear what the other people on the panel were saying in Italian and then translated into English for me. It was quite fun. Beautiful opera house. The Pope even showed up. Well, he showed up, but he didn't go to our conference, but he was out like right out in front. It was quite interesting. Anyway, so then I'll be going to Las Vegas Society of Skeptics, and that's going to be October 25th. Their first conference is going to be a Skeptic Camp. So it's a small Skeptic Camp. I'm looking forward to that. I have some great friends over there. These I will not be attending, but I am going to mention them anyway, because the New Zealand skeptics and the Australian skeptics do fabulous conferences, usually within a week or two of each other, so that when they have an international speaker like myself, they can usually come to one and then go to tour around, do other talks and touristy things, and then go to the other place. I've usually just gone around Australia or New Zealand and do talks at different areas. So the New Zealand skeptics and the Australian skeptics usually rotate the cities that they're doing the conferences at. So I've been on the North Island, I've been in the South Island in New Zealand, and I have been on many places in Australia. I have not been to Perth. I'd love to have a reason to come to Perth. And I have not been to, I want to see Ballarat and I want to see Adelaide in Australia. I really want to go to those places. But I haven't gone, but I've been to Canberra. I've been to Melbourne several times. I've been to Sydney several times. I've been to the Gold Coast and I've been to Brisbane, and they're wonderful places. And I can't wait to go again. But usually they ask me to speak every third year because, it's expensive to send somebody from California to Australia. And then I've got all that downtime, and the organizers are trying to do other things, and, they can't be entertaining me. So I'm I set up talks in different places. Anyway, so every third year I usually get there. Besides, I don't want to wear out my welcome. So skeptics in New York City, I've never been to one of theirs. I do know some of the organizers of this. I'm not participating in helping. They've not asked for my help or anything of the sort, but it is happening in New York City, and they usually do their conference in December. And the last ones I'm going to mention are these four down here is the Seattle Skeptics. They will be doing a conference. I'm going to be in Seattle in a couple of days. A couple of days. I'm going to be going up there and having lunch with people and seeing my son who's up in that area. And I'll just be up there for a few days. But Seattle Skeptics are going to be doing a Seattle Skeptics and Science Enthusiasts will do a skeptic camp this year. They haven't picked when because they usually run it at the same time as the Oregonians for Science and Reason. And so that people like myself can go and do one and then go to the next, and they can bring speakers in. But the Oregonians for Science and Reason have had, the organizers are having some problems. And so they haven't planned anything yet. And hopefully they do. But when they do, one will feed right before the other. It's traditionally how they do it. And I'm really looking forward to going up there. Both beautiful places, wonderful people. The Western New York CFI branch, last year I had tickets to go to their first skeptic camp, and my partner got really ill, had to be put in the hospital. And thankfully that happened when I was home and not when I was on a plane, because, planes don't fly fast enough to come home whenever there's an emergency, and it's so stressful. And, he wouldn't have had me here with him. And of course he died a few weeks later. So I did miss their skeptic camp, and I'd like to get out to there. So I'm talking to them. Hopefully I get an email back here soon that where we're going to start talking about what they want to do. Hopefully they will do a conference this year. No idea when. New Mexicans for Science and Reason, they had a wonderful small conference, their first attempt in Albuquerque last year in June. I think it looks like they're talking about August, around the 7th and 8th of August in Albuquerque. So that'd be great. The other place I'm talking to, hoping that it will happen is in Washington, D.C. I'm hoping that they'll do something at the same time, a week apart from the Western New York, and then I can go to both. But they're having leadership changes in Washington, D.C.'s National Capital Area Skeptics. So I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with that. But I think that might be one that will possibly happen this year. I don't think I know of any other skeptic camps that I know of that are happening. It's not too late to organize something. If you're interested, please reach out to me. If they're happening in other places around the world, I'll be happy to add them to my schedule here. Not that I'm going to be going to them, but I'll help promote anything. And if you guys want to come and meet up, or if you know of something I should be doing in that area, I'm not a foodie. I'm not a beach person. I'm more of a museum person and not really art. History is my thing. And I'd love to go see or do anything that has anything to do with the paranormal. If I had a bucket list, which I don't, the two things I'd like to add on there are fire walking, and which is unlikely to happen, but I'd love to do it. And I'd love to do crop circles, making crop circles. So just really go out into a field and do that, especially in the middle of the night. Gosh, that'd be fun. But by somebody who knows what they're doing, not me trying to struggle and figure it out. with a plank and a rope. It's not going to happen. It would come out all winky if I did it. But I'd love to go try to do stuff like that. So if anybody has anything in mind, please let me know. I'd love to continue traveling around and do all kinds of fun, exciting, interesting things. 2025 is the year that I'm working on that. So I hope you all take care. Please leave your notes in the show underneath here. I will put the links in here that I said I would. And thank you, Susan. I am actually recording this time. So thank you for bearing with me doing this again. I know it sounds, ugh, but I got it out. So we're done. Bye, everybody.